Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual program, the Target Individual Experience. So it is 12:40 Saturday morning. Friday, it was a very hectic day. They started again with the noise campaign. This was right after my nephew's son. If you go back a couple of videos, I put his picture up. He's with his father, teenager, who they get to target me in the home. If I get out to go to the bathroom, middle of the night, he'll be standing up in the hallway, doing things like, you know, uh, these hand signals, stuff like that. So today he went out, he came back in, he knocked on my bedroom door and went into the kitchen. So I was eating, so I got up, went into the kitchen. He's standing in the kitchen, and then let me take my glasses off. He looks at me, and then he puts his glasses on, and then he walks away. Right? Then they started with the noise campaign, sirens, remote newer monitoring. I left the house to go and meet Pam because I was coming over here. She asked me to spend the night so she can get up early. She can go do groceries for Thanksgiving. So I said, okay, fine. And so as soon as I left my apartment building, the sirens started going off. Then there was a lady pushing a cart, older black lady, as she just standing there waiting for me to, I guess she was waiting for me, so she just standing there. As soon as I walked past her, she not walk past her, but walk towards her. She was in front of me. She turns around and stares in my face. Of course, she had on glasses too. So again, this is the thing they want to do with the repetition and all this other stuff, right? With the conditioning, programming. So anyway, met Pam, got in the car. She started doing these hand signals. Okay. This time it was a little different because, and also they use color. All right. So sometimes she'll wear her nursing uniform. It's either a navy blue, but this time she had on a gray outfit. And because also the past couple of days, the last time I came over here, it was like a lot of targeting with a lot of gray cars. So today she had on a gray uniform. And then she started doing these hand signals. So that's like, all right, I'm just observing, as we're going. Went to pick up the kids, and she started doing the palm fixation drill. She gets out the car, hands behind the back, palm facing towards me. I said, okay, what have you. So on our way, it's funny too because when we go to pick up the kids, right, babysitters on 96 and 96th Street, and I forgot the cross street, but it's over there by Kings Highway. Um, it's like Kings Highway is just the next block over, right? Not the next block over, probably 2 blocks over or so. But 96 and it's a really strange name. I'm trying to remember, but anyway, so all of a sudden there's always police vehicles parked up there, right? Like, okay, you know. So anyway, as we're driving, there's always police vehicle parked along. Like I said, they're usually sometimes facing the direction that where you'll see that the car is going. They'll park on the sidewalk facing the opposite direction of traffic, right? And so, of course, I saw them far ahead because they had their lights on. Their lights flashing. Okay.
And there's so many police these days.
Yeah, no, and they always facing. I don't even know why they're facing. They face. And the thing is that she always trying to make excuses, right? But I know when they're talking because as you see, as we'll drive past this police van, there was another police car behind it. That light was off, and you'll see. I think I might have turned my phone, so you'll see like 4 police officers basically standing there. 2 of them looking at me as we drive by. Against the traffic. I'm like, there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
But they always, I noticed that because the last time when we drove to your block,
this is literally the same thing. Every day. But it's every day.
They do this shit. So then she likes, oh, it's every day, right? Because again, they use her to try to, what's the word? Negate what I'm saying, right? Like it's something that's regular. But listen, I've had enough videos to show targeting by police officers. That was very, very blatant and evident. Okay, so
What shit do
anyway,
they do? It's just them policing. They're doing their job.
They're
But
not
they
doing their job. They're you know, I
it's
was
every
just
day. It's daily.
it's
They're
it's
like
not
this
listen,
every day.
it's not their job to do stuff like that because again,
I don't know why they're stationed. They're
they can
stationed
either
outside
park over here on the other side of the street facing that way, or park
I'll tell you
park
the
this
same-
facing this way.
I'll tell you
This
the
shit
same-
doesn't make any sense. You know,
I'll tell you
whoever
this-
their commander is, they need to be spoken to because again, this right here, you know, they should not be doing this. It's not good. And I understand this because again,
Well, why-
when law enforcement always feel that because they're in law enforcement they can break the law, but you and I can't.
Wait, I'm so confused. I'm just saying, whatever, I don't know what their mission is or what their job is that they're doing.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just telling you,
because what they do is
in the same spots on my commute to and from.
what they're doing is hazardous because not also that, but you have your headlight in people's face, right, coming in this direction. You know what I'm saying? And this is what
pass. Let me see if I can
what they
pause it.
right.
Right? Oh, jeez. Let me go back a little bit. I want to pause it.
Is or what their job is.
Okay.
Same spot.
Went back too far. Let's see.
You know what I'm saying? And this is what
Because
they do.
They was looking. See this guy here. His face is looking. Even though this cops right there, but he was looking at me because his head turned. Okay, both of them looking in my direction. I've noticed that every time I come over here now, especially when you pick up the kids from Pam, there's always like they're facing this direction. And these were the only one tonight, last night, Friday night, that were faced that way. All of the others along that route was faced, towards traffic, which you say they just parked across the street. They were facing towards traffic, not towards traffic, going with the flow of traffic, right? So their front of the car was facing the direction of traffic. These two were facing the opposite way.
Usually by and then they usually buy that school on.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous what they're doing. You know.
I don't understand. How is it dangerous?
I say it's dangerous because they're there parked up. Their lights are flashing the way it is, right? We know that sometimes, when lights are flashing like that, especially constantly, sometimes people get distracted. I mean, particularly if they're not going anywhere. And again, they shouldn't even be, but like I said, law enforcement, they'll do whatever they, because again, they can break the law because they feel they have a gun and a badge. They can break the law. You and I can't. Okay?
You have your headlights in people's face. That's why. So if somebody is driving, you're glaring, you put that light in your face, again, guess what it does? Okay?
Hot Thanksgiving is Thursday.
So
It's there. It's by the school money from New York.
yeah, but they always target black people because you don't see them do that shit in the white neighborhoods.
Which is true.
In Park Slope, they do it in Park Slope.
Park Slope is not quite a white neighborhood. Park Slope is, you have black people in Park Slope too. So
That's
They do it in
first of all.
high-traffic area.
First of all, Park Slope is not. I'm not talking about like Park Slope. I'm talking about in this area.
I'm talking about
but
Grand Army Plaza. Every morning, I have watched them. Every morning when I drive around the park, and I'm up Prospect Park, whatever it's called, they're giving a ticket.
you don't see that. You don't see that shit in
Daily.
Bensonhurst. You don't see that shit in.
I don't go there, so I don't know. I don't go there.
What do you call it?
And Bensonhurst is apparently gangster. There's a shooting or a stabbing daily in Bensonhurst State.
That's the white mafia.
Yeah, that's what Nick said.
You know what I'm saying? That's the white mafia.
The white mafia is out of control. Diker Heights. Another coworker, she was on Diker Heights, and she says it's lit.
Yeah. You don't see that. You don't see their ass on the news though.
Huh?
I said you don't see their ass all over the news.
So they, like I said, they feel very confident today, with their targeting. I was on the computer looking for a chair for my son, as his chair for his computer is all messed up. And I was just like, dude, you got to get a new chair, man. But his mother's not going to buy it. So, it's up to me to buy these things. Right? So as I was shopping for it, they kept with the sirens, and it's like, whoop, whoop. And every time I click a button, whoop, at the exact moment I click that button, right? There you go. Then they started again with the remote monitoring, microwaving us here. The kids are walking around again doing hand signals, behind the back stuff, and this is what they do. Okay, because again, they always in a coercive persuasion program. There's always the agenda, and if you don't follow along with the agenda, then there is the threat, the psychological threats, the psychological punishment, or what have you. All right, and so uh, with again, Pam, she got in the house. She's been in her room. She hasn't come out. When I went in there, she's doing the palm fixation drill, stuff like that. So, and again, they do this because, particularly driving home, is like a threat. These police, because again, uh, there is, for me, it's like there's an 80, 95, 90% chance that, like I said, she's been infiltrated, she's been manipulated, and this is what they're doing, right? Using her against me, which is, like I said, I'm gonna report this every time these things happen, all right, for my safety and to let people know exactly what's going on, all right? And so there is that threat also on that same block on 96th Street, and damn, I can't remember the name. So there's a tree, and on the tree they have a Grenadian flag wrapped around the tree, all right? And I've noticed that since since I've been going with her to pick up the kids, that is there. And what she'll do as we're driving, she'll look at that tree with the Grenadian flag, okay, and do some hand signals. She'll sometimes, like if she's driving, she'll take her hands and put it across her stomach like this. Let me see if you guys can see, just like that, all right? Whenever she's driving past that tree with that flag around it. So, again, it's something new that she started doing. But again, I mean, I'm here, to watch the kids. Basically, try to stay out of her way because again, we're being microwave. Like I said, once my kids started doing the palm fixation drill in front of me, I know we're being microwave at this point. All right, because again, they have not done this in about maybe 2 months, particularly using the kids. All right, microwaving the kids. And again, me talking about this, this is going to be like, oh well, he's crazy and such, because again, that's how they get away with it. That's how they use psychiatry, right? So if they fail in setting you up, right, then they'll use the psychological angle. Okay, he's crazy, no one believes him. This sort of thing. The last time I was over here, we went to pick up the kids. She was on the phone with her cousin, and she was talking to my son, and he had said something, and she was like, "Oh, no one believes you." But I know she wasn't talking to him. Again, these are the psychological game that they play, right? These side subliminal jab, right? Because again, these are people who are in a position of authority. So they, whether they're psychiatrists, psychologists, or what have you, those are law enforcement, and we know, it's not like we as people, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, what have you, we know in America, right? They use the psychiatric industry to discredit people. We've seen it. Okay, it's been in the news. People have reported being dragged into, psychiatric facilities by police officers for no reason at all, right? So this is something that they do. This is not something I'm making up. Again, but when you are a person speaking the truth, when you say, I've been implanted with a microchip for the purpose of remote neural monitoring, people are like, oh, you're crazy. Well, let me ask you something. How do you think these technologies advance? You think they're going to implant it on a monkey or a rat? They don't have the intelligence as we as human beings do. So in order to perfect these technologies, they have to test it out on human beings. And no one is going to be voluntarily saying, hey, I want to be a part of this, unless, maybe like if you're a quadriplegic, it might help you, but you're in a position, a situation where, you may need to communicate, but as people who have those type of dire illness or dire disability, where we're limited to a bed, you know, or where we can't communicate verbally, as well as written wise, yeah. But they need to test these things out on everyday people. And that's where the TI community comes in, the target individual community. And they've done a lot to try to discredit us as a community. They have steered people who have serious mental illness into the community to try to discredit us. Right? So I just want people to be aware of that. Okay? That this is happening. And again, look at the history of, they may say, well, they'll as a person, they'll go through your background, look at your history, right? But you see, if you go through their background, look at their history. Trust me, their history is a million times worse than my history. Okay, I'm like a saint compared to these people. Okay, so anyway, like I said, I'm gonna play the rest of this clip, and I'm gonna show you how they use her to, in terms of when I start talking about certain things, like issues affecting black people, how she tried to shut me down and change the subject.
It's in the newspaper. And it's on Citizen app. It's constantly on Citizen app.
I was just
Dude, how come surprised you don't I'm surprised you don't have Citizen app.
That because I mean I don't need it.
I don't want it because it's depressing.
I was reading the article.
Are they still on the call? Or did you stop the call?
What? No, I stopped there because they just ask questions.
So she's talking about the call. So she sent me a text today about a meeting that they were having, the school was having at 6:00. They just decided today, I guess, to have this meeting. But again, this was part of because she wanted me to be on the phone, because I won't record the targeting. And I realized it. That's why I stopped and I started, when I saw the sirens, the lights flashing light, I stopped the call because they were only asking questions anyway. Right? So while she was driving, she wasn't thinking about asking any questions. So all of a sudden now when she asked me that, she was like, oh, I wanted to ask a question. I'm like, really? So we were driving for like 10 minutes. People were asking questions. He wasn't thinking about asking questions. But because she started to notice that I'm recording now,
Did you want to ask a question?
No, I want to hear what they were asking because maybe something pertinent for me.
I was just reading the article. I was just reading the article of this with this cop. He said, he actually quit. He said, I was tired of targeting black and brown people. He was like, I was policing in New York under the circumstances that they had is predatorial.
I told you that's why
predatorial.
Kumar left it. He was in the police academy. He left it for the exact same reason. Some people can do it for the living, and other people
they target black
people.
Black people
morally, their moral compass is like, I just can't do it.
Yeah, they target black people, young black people.
Both his parents are retired detectives. Well, his dad's passed away
all the time,
but they're retired detectives. And he was like, let me go to the police force. It's like my parents. And he's like, I can't do it. It's
become worse.
It's just too. He's like, it's just not.
And a whole bunch of cops just basically violated this young man because he was in the park and I guess he was smoking weed.
See, there's usually police officers around here.
Right? There was this young guy was in the park smoking weed, him and his friend. So the police, they saw the police coming, so they kind of like walked off, right? But again, smoking weed is not a crime, right? Smoking weed is not a crime. They have decriminalized smoking weed.
Your voice low? Sorry.
It is low. They decriminalize. It's low. You want me to whisper? I'm talking to my normal voice.
Okay, so when I started talking about that stuff, she's talking about I'm yelling. Now, my voice have been the same since we got in the car, right? But this is what she does in order to try to shut me down and to try to, quiet my voice, right?
I'm not yelling. I'm not doing anything. I am not yelling.
I know, but
I'm not yelling.
All of a sudden now she gets she has a headache, right? Okay.
I'm not yelling. Okay. So anyway,
she wasn't saying that before, right? But because I'm talking about this now, and she does this all the time, try to shut me up when it comes to talking about things that affect black people.
They've
when it comes to those within law enforcement.
Violated this young man. They threw him on the ground, beat him up, and then charged him with assaulting an officer. And it's a good thing to have it on video too. This young woman, she recorded on video. So you see how they lie. They lie, right? On top of that, they charge him with possession of marijuana. First of all, marijuana is decriminalized, so they should know that. And so the fact that they, they can't charge him, they can give him a ticket. It's like an offense, but it's not a criminal offense. They give you a ticket for it. They don't arrest you and charge you with it. So they charge him with that and also assaulting a police officer. And I'm like, these people, they lie all the time. And I said, when you have a lot of black people in jail, particularly young black men in jail, because of these lying ass mother effers. And they do that shit all. They ruin black people's lives based on lies, right? But yet, as the public, we're supposed to trust them as them being honest and integrity when we know better. And that's why I said, as we as black people, we're so conditioned, and Dr. Claude Anderson says that we are so conditioned to the fact that they have basically painted a picture over our eyes that we just cannot erase, we just cannot get rid of, right? Because again, we trust people who continue to show us that they are not to be trusted, but we still believe them even though they show that they're not to be believed, right? And this is what they do all the time to us. And we are just so indoctrinated and so brainwashed and conditioned that we just can't see our way out of it. And that's the truth of the matter, So that's what he talks about inappropriate behavior. The fact that we accept these things from people who brutalize, lie, do all stuff,
So how was your day
put us
today?
to mass incarceration.
How was your day today?
It was okay. It was
What did you do?
I did my lab project and got that done.
That's good.
I know you hate when we talk about this stuff, but this is the reality, And the truth makes you uncomfortable, but the truth don't make me uncomfortable.
It's the same conversation over and over again. You've said this like the last 3 conversations.
Well, I'm just talking about because of the situation happening. I didn't tell you about the same guy.
I'm just changing the topic.
I did not talk about the same guy. If you don't want me to talk about it, say I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Okay? And
Let's
then I'll
just change the
stop.
topic. Oh, that's all. Alyssa, our song.
This is how they condition a lot of black people, where those of us who are aware of these things and speak about these things, they try to drown us out and try to shut us up, right? It's all in the conditioning, and it's something that we need to realize and understand. And we shouldn't feel uncomfortable. We shouldn't feel like, oh, I don't want to talk about this, right? But that is the reality for the majority of black people in America. We have this mentality that has been conditioned within us. So, there you have it, right? And so again, they were feeling very, very confident in targeting me and stuff like that today. And I've talked about this before, where they have this level of confidence sometimes where they just target me and it's like they don't care, right? Until I expose their behinds, right? And then they crawl back into their hole, right? And come back out a day later or 2 days later or 3 days later, back with the aggressive targeting again. So it's the life of a TI, it doesn't stop. And we got to continue to shed a light on what's going on and expose them for what they are, which is evil, criminal, psychopathic, narcissistic, okay, Machiavellian type personalities, right, who feel that because they have a gun and a badge, or they're in law enforcement, or they're in the security agencies, that they can do whatever they want to anybody. And my life, your life, our lives are not expendable, okay? That may be what they believe, because if they believe that, then their life is also expendable, right? Like I said, new era, new mentality, not turning the other cheek, not laying down while you have boots on our necks. This is how we have to re-educate our minds to not accept these things, okay? To stop the inappropriate behavior, as Dr. Claude Anderson said. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video.